Yo, what's up guys? This is Rise and welcome to another video where we may or may not have hit the legend rank in the Go Battle League here in Season 22 in the Spring Cup. And we did it with a team I stole from a friend. And we're going to play this first battle right out of the gate against the strong and powerful Softof. And you may recognize this team I'm running here at the start. It doesn't quite match what's on the graphic, and that's because sometimes in life, you live and you learn. You get a 4-1 set with the team, consisting of Empoleon, Golisopod, Shadow Mawile. You start to think, you know what? Maybe I was getting lucky. Maybe there were some fluke wins in there where we were just core-breaking opponents. Maybe Mawile doesn't have the best play. We're trying to keep the run going with the 4-1. We're trying to keep the run going. We catch an Aqua Jet on our pod. Very nice. Softof going to catch the X-Scissor on her Lapras here. And this is going to be a nice catch for her. Golisopod going to try and reach another X-Scissor here to chip away at the health of this Lapras. Excuse me. And Lapras, so bulky, able to withstand a couple of X-Scissors. Going to get off the Sparkling Aria here now. Got to make a decision. Got to come in with Empoleon, get rid of this Lapras somehow. If I don't throw energy, they might reach another Sparkling Aria. So I have to get rid of it. We save 2 shields for Mawile. Is this enough for Fire Fang Mawile to try and sweep? Keep in mind, we were running Frustration at the time. We did not have a second move on Mawile. Aqua Jet just too much. I have to shield. I have to respect it. And what's in back? Oh, no. It's the Weezing. But Soph doesn't know that we don't have Iron Head. But unfortunately, even if we get the bait here with the Power-Up Punch and get the Protect Shield, we are going to get outpaced to a potential Overheat. Maybe our only hope is that she's not running the Overheat, but there it is. Melts our Mawile. And poor little Emperor Penguin is going to get outpaced here to a Charge Attack. And this is going to be another Overheat. Softof just dismantling me in front of my chat, in front of my friends. And it was at this moment we knew maybe we got to change up this team. So what do? We go to the lab. We figure out all these calculations to provide the perfect team to hit the legend rank. And we come out of the laboratory with copying Softof's team. Golisopod, Lapras, Shadow Galarian Weezing is the team. Totally thought of it myself. Just kidding. That's a lie. We provided the context to how we came up with the team. Rise, how do you come up with your teams? You know, it's a thorough process. Sometimes you reference PvPoke. Sometimes you're laying in bed at night. You have an idea. Man, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Will this girl ever talk to me again? Why don't I run Pod Lapras G Weezy? Or in this case, we're just stealing one of our friends' teams. Golisopod into Cradily. And this would be the start of a pretty remarkable run, as you are going to see. Rock Tomb gets Protect Shielded. Now, we're going to overfarm significantly here against the Cradily. Maybe force them to throw on uncomfortable timing. We get the shield. We're going to throw another X-Scissor here. We significantly outpace Cradily, but that Rock Tomb is, of course, very threatening, and we're able to catch it on the Galarian Weezing. My throat's like dry or something. What's going on? They try to catch on G Weezy, and unfortunately, we are not running Brutal Swing, right? So we don't really have much coverage for this Jelly. Jelly would pose to be a bit of a problem with this team, but can we overcome it? Going for another Sludge here. I mean, if they get greedy, we might even reach an Overheat here before going down. And look at this. We're going to get off a Parting Overheat. We're only single debuffed, I believe, on our Weezing. Overheat, bang! And look at this, we combo, we snipe with 2 Shadow Claws. All that energy from Jelly goes to waste. And what looked to be a tremendously bad situation has now flipped on its head. Sometimes 2 Pokemon are better than 1, so I'm going to Protect Shield my Golisopod. And we are going to try and get rid of this Shadow Empoleon lurking in the back. Make sure we throw before they potentially get to a Drill Peck for some chip damage. And as long as we get some chip damage off here, should comfortably seal the deal for Lapras to close out this game. We do lose the Charge Attack priority. Shows you how high of attack Empoleon has, because Pod doesn't seem to lose Charge Attack priority against many things. I actually go for the Hydro Cannon, maybe in case I try to catch on something. And Lapras just going to try and finish this off. Oh, interesting. They Hydra again. So maybe they're single moved. Maybe they're single moved or they're running like Blizzard. I don't know. Blizzard would be kind of crazy. And now we're just going to Psy-Wave down the Credilli for a nice win here to try and start this legend push run. On to the next one. We're in a little bit of queue time land, so I'm going to be trying to subtly drag across here in between these queue times. Pod into Jelly. Now, Jelly's a bit of a problem, as we mentioned, for our team. However, this is probably where we want to see it most, because we have the super effective Shadow Claws, we outpace, and we actually force them into throwing on bad timing because we overfarm so much, and we correctly shield a Shadow Ball. Very nice. This is looking good for us. Going for the Aqua Jet here. Going to throw after 1 to put on the pressure here, hoping that this knocks out if they were to let it go. Aqua Jet doesn't quite knock out, but this should only be a Surf. They did 5, or they did 6 and then 2. They would have needed 1 more for the Shadow Ball there. We're going to get off an X-Scissor here, and I think with a Moongus, I was a little bit afraid of maybe getting Astonished down, so I hard pivot into Lapras, which is a little bit crazy, right? Because they do potentially have Grass Knot here. So a little bit of a crazy move. We're being a little bit crazy here. Grass Knot gets shielded. We are going to make sure we get off the... Oh, we actually bait. Going for the bait. This way, if we get the shield, we force them to throw pretty much right away the Grass Knot that they have. Okay, they do 1 extra. Nice count. Nice counting by them. And they are going to knock out our Lapras here. Now, I guess we have to hope that whatever's in the back Wheezy can handle, or maybe one shot with an overheat. I don't go for a catch. I think he could have gotten off a foul play there, but elected not to go for it first. Sludge knocks out what's in back. Let's go, baby. Fire Fang Mawwile's about to get punished. And we were running the Mawwile previously with our other team. Now it's going to get a taste of... we're going to return the favor after we got overheated to start this video. And it's on to the next one. Let's see. I don't know how quick the queue is, so I might have to drag a little bit. Okay. Here we are. Next opponent. Pod into Weezing. And I don't mind this matchup because you get to the Aqua Jet first, of course, before an overheat. So you're able to outpace it in terms of the threatening move. Although a Sludge still is somewhat threatening from Weezing just because it's such an efficient attack now. I believe Aqua Jet and Sludge are actually the same. Oh, no, wait, that's a lie. No. I think they are the same. Okay. They swap in. We're going to go for an X-Scissor here against their pod and then go in Lapras. Lapras bulky, able to withstand this energy better. And maybe I could even take 2 and get an entire Psy-Wave down. Is that possible? Let's see. We're going to try and track this energy. I guess I decided to go for the Surf to force them to make a decision. They have to shield if they want to get off another X-Scissor. And they do shield. So we peel 1 Protect Shield off of the opponent here. Pod goes for another X-Scissor. Does connect onto our Lapras. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to have to throw. Looks like he's going to get the farm down before me. So unfortunate there, but we take alignment. I hard pivot into Pod. And this is fine because we had to get rid of this. We had to get rid of this Weezing anyway. And they actually Protect Shield. They actually Protect Shield. Now, this is where things get dicey because I think Weezing has 2 moves. And yeah, I could have thrown my Aqua Jet there. So a bit of a mistake by me. If I had thrown my Aqua Jet, I would have forced Jelly into having to expend energy to get rid of me. But now this is looking kind of rough. Remember, Jelly has residual energy here. I'm going to go for the Sludge. I don't want to debuff myself just yet because then they're not going to be threatened. Then we're going to do 1 and go for the catch attempt. And look at this. We get a huge catch. I almost said a huge catch attempt. A huge catch. The attempt is successful. We're going to go for the overheat here when both moves are resisted, of course. Overheat's going to do a lot more. Overheat, bang, knocks out the Jellicent and is going to lift us to victory in that game. And we're going to keep on marching here. Ed Ventures. I feel like I've been playing them a lot lately. Tough lead here into Tropius. Gonna save swap Lapras, which, I mean, isn't the best since they do outpace us to Leaf Blade here. But I do have the threatening Ice Beam, so we're gonna lure out their next Pokemon, and it's an Araquanid. Yikes. Yikes, dude. This is insane. Tropius, Araquanid. This is like RPS City at the moment. But who knows? Maybe there's something in back that Weezing could give us some play. I don't know. At this point, we're just going to have to let Lapras go down. They Water Pulse us, which tells me that they're probably running like Water Pulse Bug Buzz. But I decide, you know, my Pod's not going to do much for me against the Tropius anyway, so I'm just going to have to eat a potential Bug Buzz here that does a lot of damage. I double up on X-Scissor, thinking maybe that could be useful, but unfortunately, it is a Whiscash. So you're thinking like this game is probably over. And I was too. I'm like, damn, excuse my language. I just got perfectly hard countered. That stinks. That is unfortunate. I am sad that I'm going to lose this game. But they Scald, which tells me that they're not running Mud Bomb, right? So they're running like Scald Blizzard. What the heck? So we go for another Sludge. Because they're not running Mud Bomb, we're going to be able to significantly outpace here. And check this out. I shield up the Mud Bomb. I'm going to overfarm as much as possible. I combo with the X-Scissor, saving all that energy I had on Weezing. They know I have double, so they let it go. I'm just going to pretty much blind throw this because I want to get either land damage on Tropius or just get rid of this Araquanid. And now, is there any way we can still win this? They still have one shield. So if I can land the Overheat, Overheat will one-shot, but I lag a turn. So I take an extra Air Slash, and they do correctly shield the Overheat. So that's unfortunate, right? Because if I had successfully baited and not lagged and landed the Overheat, I would have won. But I feel like once he sees the Air Slash go through, he knows he can just automatically shield. But if I didn't lag and he doesn't get that extra Air Slash, I feel like there's a chance maybe he tries to call the Sludge Bait. Maybe not. So I probably lose anyway, but it's unfortunate that lag did potentially change the outcome of that game. And it's always like when you're in such a bad position and you're like about to overcome it for such an epic win, and then the lag takes it away from you. That's pretty tough. Anyway, Pod into Bruxish, the Psychic Fish. Good lead for us. Confusions are going to chunk, but we do outpace here, and X-Scissor would one-shot this Bruxish. It is very glassy, very attack-weighted. X-Scissor grabs the Protect Shield. They are going to go for a first Psychic Fangs, I should say. We are going to overfarm slightly, fire off our X-Scissor in between the Confusion, of course. X-Scissor knocks out Bruxish. Now, do we potentially pivot? I don't. I don't pivot because we want to make sure we get Lapras aligned with this Tentacruel. So we're just going to have to give up this farm, get in a little bit of chip damage in the process because we are ABA weak to Tentacruel. And now they could be running Sludge Wave potentially, but I really don't want to shield an Acid Spray or something. So sometimes you just have to live with that decision. They come in with Mawile, and it is Fire Fang. And now keep in mind, Mawile, so glassy that I can probably just... I was going to say I could probably just switch and go for Sludge, but I guess we're staying in to get to another Sparkling here. It's going to pull the final Protect Shield, and now I can definitely just go for a Sludge. I do have to respect a potential Iron Head here, because Iron Head would pretty much one-shot us, and it is an Iron Head, so a good shield. We're just going to throw this right away to get rid of this Mawile. Since the Tentacruel just Sludge Waved, it can't have that much energy, and I think an Overheat should be enough to knock out here. Overheat, just such a strong, powerful move. Big Overheat from the Shadow. Weezing, bang, knocks out, and gets us the win. Let's go, baby. Let's go. And that was a nice little set there. We're going to catch the Morpeko, and that put us at 2985 with the Softoph team. Can we hit Legend in this very next set? Let's try and do it. This was our first battle of the new day. The previous set was the last set of the previous day, so these are two separate days meshed together. And we play Brandon. also known as Existing Monkey, a terrific trainer. We're going to go for the X-Scissor here. He's going to fire one back. We're playing out the mirror match. We do know that we win Chart Attack Priority because I actually played him yesterday, or the day before this, rather. So I win the Chart Attack Priority here, which is nice for me. Although I'm oftentimes bad at remembering people's full team, so I didn't really remember what was in the back line. I still don't remember as of now. And I'm seeing if I can get the full farm down. Oh, and check this out. I think he makes a mistake here. We go for the X-Scissor, and he shields it, but he's at 1 HP. And if you didn't know, now you know. A Protect Shield does not negate the damage. It reduces the damage to 1. So at 1 HP, sometimes you get the KO through the shield. And then I make a Power Whip catch here onto Weezing, saving some energy on my Golisopod. Now, if he is running Flash Cannon, he will outpace me to the Overheat, so I actually settle for the Sludge here. Sludge is going to be resisted, but puts Pharaoh low. They do bank an attack, and I go straight for the Overheat. Kind of a bold play. Honestly, this might be a little bit of a mistake, because if I... Oh, but no, it's not! The shields are down! What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Shields are down! Of course we go for the Overheat. And now our Lapras looking very dapper with the bow. Just going to come in right away. Not allow him to stall that switch clock out. And we just got to get rid of this thing because our pod... Oh, he makes a nice play comboing me with the Power Whip here. But as long as we can farm down, we should be fine. Because we win the Chart Attack Priority here, even if Lapras had a move, which it doesn't. Really nice combo play there from Existing Monkey. That almost flipped it because I think he was 2 off the Power Whip. He was at 6. So if he... Yeah, we needed to get that Shadow Claw down in 3. If that third Shadow Claw didn't KO, we would have actually lost that game. So despite a lot of early plays going our way, Brandon was almost able to pull it back with a nice play at the end there. But we take game 1 in this set. Jay Mills. Funny enough, Jay Mills and I were in voice chat like 20 minutes before this game occurred because we were playing in a team-based format. And then we queue up in the Go Battle League in my potential Legends set. Here we go. Aqua Jet, bang. Gonna respect the potential Overheat here. Overheat does so much damage, of course. But it's just a Sludge. And now I know this has to be a Sludge. So I'm going to let this one go. Going to overfarm to 4 in case he's running Brutal Swing. And go for the X-Scissor here. X-Scissor in case they catch on like a Lapras or something. In comes Credilli. And now you might be thinking like, let myself get farmed to line up Weezing here. But I feel like the Bullet Seed down there is too devastating. So I go for the aggressive swap into Weezing. Not giving that Bullet Seed down. Rock Tomb does connect. Gonna go for the Sludge here. I'm still switch locked. I feel like it's tough to debuff yourself when you know you're going to be switch locked for a while. Go for another Sludge. Credilli should be able to hang on here to this Sludge. And now I have to make a decision. Do I invest in Weezing or just put it on Lapras? I decide, you know, hopefully Credilli's their best Lapras answer. I come in with Lap, and it is Decidueye. This is scary. This may very well come down to a bait. I think they're at 5, so 50 energy here. We get the bait. Step 1. We're keeping track of energy. They do 8 Astonishes, 80 energy. So minus 45 from the Frenzy Plant means they're at 35. They're not yet at another Frenzy. They're 1 away, which we can now land the Ice Beam here. Bang. Knocks out. And then we simply Psywave down the Credilli for a nice win there in game number 2. Can we keep the streak going? Pod, Lapras, Weezing. What an incredible team I totally invented and thought of myself. See if we can skip ahead to this next battle. 2985. Gets a little bit tense when you have these queue times. Trying to hit Legend. They're trying to get you out of your groove. Another Weezing. One of the more common Pokemon in this meta, of course. Gonna build up, throw on the charge attack priority with the potential overheat here. Aqua Jet, bang. And after you play a matchup out so many times, it starts to like feel more comfortable, right? Like, we do correctly shield the overheat, which is quite nice. Gonna go for an X Scissor here. And, oh, I actually get to another. Let's go. So he's overfarmed quite a bit. He's at 6 Astonishes. And I catch after 1. Let's go. Hopefully catching a foul play here. And I actually get to a Sludge before he even gets off another charge attack. So this is really nice for me. Not only did we keep Pot around, but we really lamaged. I was going to say limit damage. I said like lamage. We limit the damage that the mushroom is able to do to us. They try to make a catch here, but I do have to throw energy anyway. Gonna get off a parting overheat since I'm only gonna get to 1 move. But there's still a fully healthy Pokemon in back. Bang! So to be fair, they're thinking like, if they shield, right? There's still a fully healthy Pokemon, and then their Mawile has no shield, so they probably felt like their only win con was maybe hoping it was like a Ferrothorn or something, and they could take a Sludge and try to fang through everything. Here we go. Instant Q. And this next one, tough lead into Cacturne. We're ABA weak to this. Lapras does not want to see Cacturne, but I'm kind of gauging how much damage these Sucker Punches are doing, and it looks like hopefully I can reach double X Scissor before going down. So that's kind of what we're hoping for here. We're going to shield this to get off our parting X Scissor and hope that they don't catch it on something like a Weezing. We get this off. I presume they're going to shield. They have a boosted Cacturne that's still fairly healthy. But we just have to let ourselves get farmed down here to now come in with Weezing. And they're going to pivot into Jelly. I decide to go for an Overheat because I don't really have much charge attack pressure here. So I figured just Overheat and dip. Get some solid damage off while I can. And we are going to be, like, kind of forced to let Lapras go down here, I think. Because they've got so much energy on Jelly. So I am actually going to have to make the decision to just fully sacrifice Lapras. I'm only going to get to 1 charge attack. Ice Beam does slightly more here than the Sparkling Aria. So we go for the Ice Beam. And it is an Empoleon with Metal Claw in the back. This looks terrible. But I'm thinking, okay, if I can do as much Fairy Wind damage as possible and then go for the Overheat and then have a Sludge loaded for Cactus, that's probably my win con. So I do as much Fairy Wind damage as possible before debuffing myself. Big Overheat, bang! Knocks out the Penguin. We sludge the Cacturne. I think it might have been 1 away from the Trailblaze. And then 1 Fairy Wind. How about Galarian Weezing with the epic sweep there to clinch a positive set here in our potential Legend set. 3-0. But keep in mind, at higher ELO ranges, typically with down pairs in the ELO system, a 3-2 would probably not be enough here. Oh, wait a sec. I'm tripping. That's 4-0. That is the clinching game. That is the clinching game. We got Legend, baby. Now let's see if we can finish with a 5-0 in style. I got too excited. Here we go. Who's going to be the 5th game of this set? Is it going to be a 5-0, a style Legend, or is it going to be... Are they going to put a rain on our... It's a Carbink, dude. A Carbink lead is terrible for us. We are ABA weak to this Carbink. I decided to just go for an Aqua Jet, and then I think I hard pivot into Weezing. Just try to pull some shenanigans here. And I get off a Sludge, which is kind of nice. This is for neutral. So I create a big desync in the switch clock here because this is a charge attack priority. So a big desync in the switch clock. In comes Trev. I build up to Overheat, thinking that they would have to respect this, but then they're crazy. Sniping me. Just kidding. And I shield because I figure maybe I can farm down and come out with energy. But this is looking kind of rough. And maybe I shouldn't have done this. Yeah, because now I lock myself. But to be fair, if I had... I guess the only way... Oh, and I made another mistake there. I could have at least done Sparkling before and maybe gotten their shield, but I committed to Ice Beam, and they got the Trailblaze to knock me out first, so I should have at least gotten something off, but then I don't get the second Sludge anyway, so I would have needed that Sludge anyway to win, to get that final shield to give myself a chance. So, 2 mistakes there, which is a little bit of a damp mood killer, but we don't get the 5-0, but what we get more importantly is a 4-1 set to try and clinch the legend rank. Now, I said a prediction. I said, do we think it's going to be 30-18 or higher or 30-17 or lower? If you don't believe me, you can check the stream. Dude, I am so good at predicting ELO sometimes. Maybe not on my Guess the ELO series. I'm not that good, but in terms of like after a set, what the ELO is going to land on, dude, I have predicted it on the dot like 3 or 4 times. It's crazy when we hit legend. It's a gift. I don't know what to say. I'm a psychic type. I am a psychic type Pokemon. We catch a Ducklet, the Mighty Duck. And now let's see that legend ranking. Let's claim those rewards. Enough stalling, Rise. Give the people what they want to see. I'm getting scared. Hopefully I didn't cut the clip too short. Boom. 30-18. First screenshot was a little bit mistimed. Second screenshot on the money. And there we go. Season 22 legend in the books. Probably within the first, like, I don't know, 50 to 100 people to hit it this season. So relatively fast. But obviously some people got there earlier, and it's still super early in the season. So if you guys are still at under 2,000, veteran, whatever you may be, make sure not to let these videos of people hitting early legend like dissuade your progress, because whatever your own personal goal is, that's what it's really all about. There's that quote I heard like last week, or maybe it was longer than that, but like there's no nobility in trying to be superior to your fellow man. True nobility lies in being superior to one's former self. So it's not that deep, Rise. It's Pokemon. Relax. Relax, Rise. Anyway, I like to share. I'm a quotes guy. I like quotes. So all that said, we hit legend in Pokemon Go. We got the new pose, the mustard pose. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought there were some pretty cool battles. We snuck some nice wins in there. If you enjoyed this content, hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Comment down below. All comments are appreciated. Share it with your friends. Share it with your Pokemon Go fam. And all that said, I very much hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.